7 seasons later, and it is finally time for a PvP season. You guys, I am so excited. You have no idea how overdue this really is. Welcome to Season 8. We have a new PvP feature, new milestones for captaincy, new factions, new pirate hideouts, new curses and cosmetics. This is arguably the best thing to happen for not only PvPers, but also PvEers, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. But first, there is entirely too much to talk about here, so I'm just going to quickly try and give you a rundown of what this feature set actually is. And after that, I'm going to get pretty granular on important bits of info not covered in Rare's content update trailer, so be sure to stay tuned for that. This new feature set is opt-in PvP on demand, including skill-based matchmaking. There is going to be a lot of fighting other players. So if you haven't checked out my video on how to prepare for the fights in Season 8, do that as soon as possible right here at the top of your screen. Okay, so you'll be battling against rival players to rank up 2 brand new factions via Allegiance. Allegiance is how you earn new rewards in these factions, earning the Skeleton Cursed and Ghost Cursed at level 100 for each faction, and at level 1000 you can get the gold version of these curses, and apparently you can level even further than that. Once on your ship, you will now have a new hourglass on your captain's table, and by spinning it, you choose which side to fight for, Flameheart or the Pirate Lord. Once you've chosen a side, you are essentially playing defense. You are open to being invaded by the opposing faction. If you have any treasure on your ship that you've collected and you get invaded, you'll receive bonus allegiance if you successfully defend your ship and win the match. Basically, more treasure equals more progress. If you decide to cash out and sell your loot after a successful defense, you'll gain even more bonus allegiance, although this amount will not be an efficient way to earn progress. This decision, as much as I argued with the devs against it, was made to increase the size of the matchmaking pools. I just hope that the promises of PvE progress don't bring false expectations and "why'd you sink me in the pirate game" toxicity. Now, if you want to play on offense and actually do the invading, access the brand new war map on your captain's table and your ship will dive beneath the waves and you'll be matched with a rival crew. You will then migrate to their server and spring up from beneath the waves beside them. Also, it's important to note, if you are carrying treasure, don't think you can invade another server to get away from a fight, because when you invade, you will drop any loot you have on board. This is where the battle actually begins. You will be facing a crew of the same size as well as a similar win-loss ratio as you. Each battle has a boundary that you cannot leave, otherwise your ship will explode and sink. So no running allowed, thank God. I do, however, think that this will actually be the meta strategy for this new feature. Board another crew's ship, spawn camp them, and drive them out of bounds until their ship sinks. So be sure to watch for boarders. You are not going to want to have anyone take control of your ship besides you. Now, whichever ship loses the battle will be migrated to a brand new server so they can't come back if you decide to stick around. I love this feature and sometimes wish that it would just be a thing all of the time. The losing ship does receive a tiny bit of allegiance as compensation for the loss. The winning ship then earns a streak multiplier for allegiance with every successful win. Your hourglass also fills up with sand the higher your streak, which you can then transfer into gold when leaving the battle. The greater an enemy's allegiance streak, the more allegiance the opposing faction gets for sinking them. At a streak of 4, a ship will become a high-value boss ship, which will then be marked on the map for the entire server to see. At this streak level, a crew can also opt in to do what's called a champion battle, which will match them against larger ship sizes. There are no bonuses for champion battles, it is just for the extra challenge. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's dive a bit deeper on important bits of info Rare didn't give out in their content update trailer that you may not know. I'm just going to go through these as bullet points, so let's get started. Quickly talking about the skill-based matchmaking. Like I said, it's based on a win-loss ratio. If you win, your ratio goes up. If you lose, it goes down. If you lose to a crew with a higher score, it goes down less than it normally would. Other boats can actually enter your battle arena and interrupt your fight. You can level both factions and get both curses. To enter the faction hideouts, you must be rank 100 allegiance and either be Pirate Legend or max rank in the appropriate faction, being Reaper's Bones or Athena's Fortune. You do not need both of those, either or. As I said, we have 2 new PvP captaincy milestone alignments for each faction with their own trinkets to earn for each. You only gain allegiance for fighting the opposing faction. So if you somehow find a faction battle happening on the server you're on, while you're participating in this feature set, you will not gain allegiance for sinking someone of the same faction. You get rep and allegiance for turning in emissary flags for the opposing faction, and running an emissary flag for your faction will increase the value of the gold you get from your Sands of Fate within your hourglass. Now, if you think you're sneaky and you queue up as a solo player and then invite a friend to join you, they will actually get trapped in the Ferry of the Damned until the battle is over. After which they will join your crew and then you will be matched as a duo moving forward. This will only be applied to crews queuing up as solo. Ships emerging from the waves will not be affected by kegs and will not spawn in the Red Sea, so no shenanigans will be tolerated on that front. The position of ships emerging from the waves relative to their opponent will vary a bit battle to battle to try and prevent ambushes. Okay, my god, that's a lot to cover. Maybe I should have made this into 2 separate videos. Well, too late now. So now let's talk about why this is not only good for PvP, but PvE as well. Since Arena was removed, PvPers have had nothing to occupy their time except sinking ships in adventure mode. But with Season 8, everyone will be so busy battling it out that this will, without a doubt, take heat off of PvEers just trying to do quests. This feature also includes a new form of server hopping with an in-game mechanic, which will likely decrease the amount of Reaper 5s portal hopping and just appearing in front of you while digging up your snakes or whatever you dorks do. Just remember, and this is extremely important, just because PvPers now have a matchmaking option, that does not mean they won't sink you like usual. Sea of Thieves is still a PvPvE game, and don't forget it. Lastly, the best thing Season 8 does for PvEers is give them a concrete path to dip their toes into PvP with skill-based matchmaking. There really hasn't been a better time to give PvP a shot until now. Before you go, Rare has officially announced they are actually bringing back the Rising Morningstar cosmetic set, which is one of my favorite sets in the whole game, as Twitch drops starting tomorrow. And I will be live all day today and the rest of this week streaming Season 8 PvP, so come hang out, get some free items, and talk Season 8 at twitch.tv/blurbs. I will also likely be giving away the ultra rare Obsidian capstans all throughout the week, so be sure not to miss that. But now the big question, are you going to be participating in this new feature, especially if you don't normally PvP? Please let me know in the comments. If you want to stay up to date on PvP news within Sea of Thieves or just the general state of the game, make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to find people to do this new feature set with, come join the Discord. Everyone is super chill, and find a crew to do Season 8 with. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.